10:30. That's awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
We're back.
Yeah, it's, I know that we do this once a month, but it seems to come by pretty fast.
I have to say, this past month feels like it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I did an episode of Coffee Date on the 7th, but like it sort of feels like I've just been like going from one live show to an next this month.
Yeah, I did that with I did one, my last episode with Yost was this week. And then last Saturday, or a week ago Saturday, I did one with Doug from Inquiring Minds. And that was awesome. Doug, I really like Doug. He's a nice guy. And, they had some great questions and we had a good time. So, and I got him to use StreamYard. So we tested, the day before we were testing his software that he uses when he does it by himself. But he downloaded StreamYard and found that for when you're having other people, it's easier. And
yeah, it's so much nicer. And I've been on a couple other people's shows. By far, I prefer when people use StreamYard because some of them, there's a really long lag from what you're saying versus what you're seeing. And so I've had episodes on other people's channels where I've had to like cover my laptop screen with a sheet of paper so that I'm not watching myself in a lag.
Oh, yes. So here's a question, because I notice when I do it with Yoast, he records it so he can go back and edit it before. I mean, we see it live on YouTube. People see it live on YouTube, and then he records it so he can edit that and then repost it again.
Yeah.
So, but this just goes up. This recording just goes up on YouTube, and that's it.
This just stays live. I don't pay for a StreamYard subscription. They're quite expensive. And
yeah, because this is free.
This is free.
Free is good.
I want to say it's like $30 a week.
Oh, no.
It's expensive. And I went, can I justify this? No.
No, that's $30 a week is too expensive.
I know. And so instead, we just use the free version and deal with the little StreamYard icon in that corner above your head.
I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. I don't either. Especially because, it's free.
Free, like I said, free is good. Because I did a giveaway on my YouTube channel because I got over 1,000 subscribers.
I saw.
I was like, I know you did. So thank you. And I'm like, okay, I'm freaking out. I was, how do I mean, normally in the past on Instagram, when I first started, I was like writing everybody's name on a piece of paper and putting it in an ice bucket and drawing a name that way. And I'm like, I really don't. I mean, I see everybody using some type of random picker. And good morning. We have Shannon and Michael and of course Peter.
Yeah.
I love when Peter's on. And anyway, so anyway, I did use the comment picker, and that was pretty good. So, but the thing is, because it's free, you can't say, well, you can, I think, have people that weren't eligible to be in the drawing, or you can just have them spin it again. So
yeah.
So that was pretty cool, though. The thing with that is you can only do it once a month or something for free. I don't know. I haven't tested that one yet. So, but free is good.
Free is good.
Just make sure if you have any questions for us, just leave them in the comments and we'll try to answer your questions.
Yes. It's going to be an interesting show because we're talking about how we collect in our pen collections, but also how we decide to get rid of stuff. And I know from discussions that we collect in very different ways, but I think we make a decision to get rid of stuff in a pretty similar way. So I think
Right.
this should be quite a lot of fun.
I know it's so funny that I will say to Peter, my husband, and I'll say, "Listen, I'm going to get rid of these pens." He says, "Well, let me see what you're going to get rid of," because he does not like to get rid of anything, any of the pens. And I say, in honesty, we're not using these pens. I'm not using these pens, and uh, they just don't appeal. Like, you learn over like 3 years of collecting that. Yeah, after 3 years of collecting, I have learned what I like and what I don't like. And that takes time. That really does take time. Hi, Scotty. How did you guess? I am going to sell my custom 743. Only
And
because I don't go, it's beautiful writer.
yeah,
I don't gravitate to it. I haven't written with it in over a year. So if I'm not going to write with it, it's time to send the love somewhere else.
and I'm gonna say I've tried both of them at pen shows. There are pilots I like more than both of them. There are other pens that are in a similar price range I like more than both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they come up all the time in 20 questions as Grail pens, and I have just never felt the desire. Oh, this is a good question. What's your top 5?
In a daily rotation. Okay. Well, right now it's a little hard for me because I had to clean out all my pens. I haven't been able to write in 6 weeks. And I just graduated to a soft cast. And I have been right now practicing one with my left hand with a couple of pens. So it's hard for me to say because they're not on this desk, they're in the other room. Right now, I do have this Scarzy that I've been using and practice writing with. So I love this one. This is really cool. And I have some pilot, these little pilots that I actually was writing with just now because now I can try to write a little bit. And these are I like these. These are great pocket pens. They just go right in my pocket. So this is what I have right now. But when I can really start writing again, I got a list of pens that I'm going to play with. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Fair enough.
You go.
Some of these have been in the daily rotation for a while, but now they've got nib grinds on them, and some of them are newer. So, to start with, the Colotino has become my daily driven pocket pen. I've now had it, I think, since the beginning of February, and it has got a lovely patina and is great. I utterly adore it. It now has Coco Midnight Blue in it. It was purple for a long time. I got tired of purple. It's now blue. And then we have these 4 because I can't be basic. This is a Heinz pen that's a piston with a Matthew Chen extra fine mini stub. This is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim Follow the Mermaid with a music nib in it. This is a Pilot Decimo with a custom ground medium architect nib in it. And then this is a White Bear Pen Echo in Pink Pony Club with a medium nib in it. And this plus a Banu Pixie has been my daily carry now for almost a month and a half. Sometimes like 1 or 2 pens will switch out, but for the most part, this has been my daily carry since Chicago.
Yeah, I really can't wait to start re-inking some pens. I just kept a couple so I could try to practice with. So I'm really looking forward to when I have started to write a little bit with my right hand again, but I don't want to push it because they're like, just be careful with what stuff you do when you're wearing this.
Yeah.
But it feels so much better in this than the big brace I was wearing. So I've only been 6 weeks since surgery. So he said it's going to be another 6 weeks before I'm maybe pain-free. So
like just before DC.
Yep.
You'll be able to use your pens just before the DC pen show. That's like perfect timing.
I know. And I'm going to Miami Pen Show in a few weeks. So it's going to be, interesting. I mean, I can't really use a lot or do a lot, and I'm going to be very careful until I get the really green light to that I can do more. But so that's the first pen show that's coming up for me is going to be Miami.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So Wendy has both and uses them pretty randomly. She must mean the 745s and the 7/4.
43 and the 823.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I've tried them. I know people really like them. And there are so many other pens in that similar price range that I just like more.
I'm actually really enjoying my vanishing points. You know, and I just got a couple new ones in that I can't write with yet, but they were like limited edition. So it's like, hey, at least if I can't write, at least I can buy. So, and also making room for other pens to come in that I know that I'm more now gravitating to. I have a few sailors that I'm going to sell.
Ooh.
But yes. In fact, let me get the tray. Because they're small ones. I have a regular Pro Gear in yellow, and I have the little mini pocket, but they're small for me. This is a Nagasawa one with a fine medium nib, I believe. And, you know, it posts and everything, and it's great, but it's just it's not my go-to. I have learned that I really, for me, love the King of Pen.
Yes.
And that is my favorite pen. And those are basically like a lot of those are my go-to pens. So I love my King of Pens. And I don't gravitate to, I mean, even this one here's just a regular 1911 large.
Shannon's wondering what color the Pro Gear Mini is.
It is a light gray. It's really cute. It's a lighter gray. It looks beige, and it's got the gray top, or the gray top, darker gray top.
Oh, okay.
And let's see what the section looks like. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very nice. I used it once. It writes great. And then, of course, it's been totally cleaned out and everything. So those I will have. And in all fairness, I just started looking for my stuff, so I haven't even priced them yet. But we can talk later on if you know how to get a hold of me, Shannon. So, and I even have.
Her follow-up is DC.
Yeah, I'll bring them to DC. I will bring them to DC. I have even some Benus.
Oh.
I only like Euphorias. That's the size that I'm very comfortable with.
Now you're speaking my language, because I like atrociously sparkly.
Yeah. And I got, it's a talisman size.
Okay.
And it's a little smaller, and I prefer, like I said, the bigger one. And I mean, it's nice and everything. It's a great pen. This is like,
because there's a talisman compared to a Euphoria. So there are.
Yeah.
There's a size difference.
Yeah, there is a size difference. This one is, it's like gambling, I think. I forget what the name of it is. It's got like your hearts and spades and whatever but it's a pretty pen. And then the other one is the lavender one.
Oh, okay.
And yes, it smells like lavender, or it did when I first got it. It still does a little bit. And so, I'll have the stuff that I'm planning on spreading the love, resending out.
The lavender talisman was an interesting pen. It was pretty. And it was limited. Wasn't it a limited edition?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. What else? Sorry, I just got some type of notification here for something, and I don't know what it is.
I was trying to pull up the lavender one on Penrose.
Perfect. I sold a pen, and I'm always getting worried. Like I sold one of my pens, and all of a sudden a notification came up, and I'm like, They love it. I'm like, phew, that's the other worry too, right?
Yeah. So the lavender was limited edition 500.
Of 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only
Yeah.
made 500 of it.
Yeah. So so the best way to figure out what you're gonna sell a pen for is see what the market will bear. You go on eBay, you look up to see, I know that this one here, the Pilot in Verdigris, they're discontinuing it. So and I just went on eBay and there's one on eBay right now.
Yeah.
And it's up, they're doing bidding instead of buying it now. This one's in abroad. It is a beautiful writer, but it's not one that I gravitate to.
And like, that is pretty much how I sort my pens. Like, I have basically created a pile of pens that I haven't reached for in 8+ months.
Right. Exactly. That's the way I.
There is one exception, because I try not to have too many multiples of the same pen. And with the work I do with brands, sometimes I get multiple special editions over the course of a year as they come out with editions.
All right. Oh.
And I now have 2 numbered editions from the same brand. And I sat down and I went, which do I like more?
Mm-hmm.
Do I like, yes, your collection has grown drastically. It has. Yeah, I would say there's been a lot of growth because I've also been working with more people this past year. I have 2 numbered Anova pens, which is a model from Monteverde I really like. I like the magnetic cap on them. They're really nice to write with. I've almost always got one inked up, even if it's not appearing in a monthly inked up video. But the question I was facing is, one, do I need 2 numbered editions of the same pen? Not really. And so then I went, am I keeping the titanium or am I keeping the rainbow?
Mm.
And I think I'm keeping what?
The rainbow's kind of cool looking.
The rainbow is kind of cool looking.
But what's a practical feel?
There's some, practical feel, they're pretty similar, other than the fact that this one has the braided metal on it.
Mm-hmm.
The weight of the titanium one is so satisfying. I think I have to keep the titanium one.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one is just so satisfying. So I think this one will be up for sale at some point soon, because I also have a third one on my desk.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. This is part of their ombre collection. So I've got it in a fountain pen. This is the Charm colorway. And then I've got it in a ballpoint pen in Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And I like their, this was the pen I used at Chicago for filling out pay slips for people to pay at Atlas, because we had to fill out little slips of paper. This was great. But I do not need 3 of the same model.
Right.
pen. So I think one of them is going to be up for sale soon. And I think it's probably going to be the rainbow. So if you're interested, or if somebody is interested, let me know. And I will.
I am not a completionist in any way. I don't feel the need that I have to have every pen and because I don't like every pen, their color or whatever.
Exactly.
And I know some people, I have a friend of mine that he has almost every M800 Pelican ever made. And that's what he wanted. And that's wonderful. I'm not going to go, there's a few that I like. And there's a few, I look at them and I'm like, what were they thinking? So
I would say in the pen world, I'm not a completionist. In the watercolor world, I am very much a completionist. I really like the fact that my full studio palette has nearly every single, or it has a version of nearly every single pigment still commercially available on the market in the watercolor world.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that when I'm doing custom mixes for brands and doing color formulation, I have access to pretty much every pigment available. that they would be able to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a practicality thing for me. In the pen world, on the other hand, like, I don't feel the need. Like, I don't see the point. It gets very expensive very quickly, and I do not have the budget for it.
Well, it's because it's like I get phone call from, say, the boutique. We know which boutique we're talking.
Yes.
And hey Claire, the new a new Mont Blanc has come in, the Renoir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't feel the need to get it. I don't. I went and I looked at the pen and I'm like, it doesn't speak to me. Yes, when Renoir was an amazing painter.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about the pen that I don't like.
No, and I love the ink. I've currently got the ink inked up in a pen, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I just, to be fair though, I don't like many of the Mont Blanc artists' pens.
No.
There have been one or two of the artists or the writer pens that I like, but for the most part, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I was just reading Peter wrote, he's definitely a completionist.
People are pretty sure we're calling Peter out here.
Yeah. No, because Dom is a dear friend, and he was saying, like, there's another pen that I'm selling, and I'm actually trading it in for something that I want. So I was talking to Dom about it, and I said, yeah, I wish I could get Peter. Every time I said, Peter, I'm going to sell this pen, he said, don't. It's like, but then I want to get something better, or something that I'm going to like. When you first start collecting, you don't know what you like.
Yeah, so that's my thing, is that I like to have things I'm actually using in my collection. And again, my collection is built in an incredibly different way from yours and Peter's.
Yeah.
I work with brands. I get sent product to create content on. And the way my deals with brands work currently is I don't have to send stuff back. I get to keep it. Which means, like, sometimes you'll see it in other content going forward. Sometimes it'll end up being gifted to friends or family. And sometimes it gets sold once I decide I don't need it. But it does mean that, like, most of my collection I don't pick. Brands pick what they send to me. I will say there are a few exceptions. Esterbrook is fairly good. Actually, Esterbrook is very good at letting their people have some insight into what they want when they send out product. Same with Yafa. Yafa consults with me about what I want, which is how I ended up with a titanium pen and this really fun mechanical pencil I'm doing a video on, that when you twist the tip, the lead comes out.
Yep. Come more this way into the camera.
Sure.
Hey, that is like a cool looking pen.
It's a great mechanical pencil.
Pencil.
It's got a ruler on it, which is unusable with the actual thing. It's got a touch screen nib, and if you unscrew it, it's got a mini screwdriver.
Is that not like the Monteverdi?
It is.
Yeah.
It's their tool pen. Like, they're great at consulting with me over what I want, but like not every brand does that. So the very few things I add to my collection are very me. Like this River City Pen Company pen. But for the most part, what I add to my collection, I don't always necessarily get to choose. Versus you and Peter, that are very selective over what you add because you are buying it out of pocket.
And I, with an occasional of getting one or two pens that, in for review, and it was lovely because thank God they were like a pen brand that I know and love too. I don't, or I'll, I for the most part I do pay for all my pens that I review, so which is kind of cool, other than a couple. So I'm always open and honest about that. Yeah, Okay, so Peter's like he's thinking of doubling down, and then Dom's like, I could see an argument for having a backup. So those two are going at it.
Great.
No,
I'm watching it out of the corner of my eye, and also like realizing that with the two of them there, I really don't have to moderate comments.
no. They could just chat away.
Yeah.
No, it is kind of funny, but as we joke around. But I think we should do a survey. Who is more of a completionist, men or women?
Or 1 second, can I make a poll? Start a poll.
Let's start a poll.
If I can spell, that would be a lovely thing. But apparently, I cannot.
And the other thing too is I'm getting more pens in, so I want to make room. And I figured the pens that I'm not using, and some pens I won through contests, and so I use those for gifts. Then the same in different colors. Me with my pastel Jen House, yeah.
Yeah. I'm still not sure that I spelled completionist correctly, but Google has told me this is how it's spelled, so we're just going with it.
Okay. So now where's the poll being on?
Over on YouTube.
YouTube?
So it doesn't show up on StreamYard. It only shows up on YouTube, unfortunately.
Okay. So when we're done here, people can go over to YouTube and do the poll.
Well, no, because so you can't see it, but I can see it because I've got YouTube dashboard open.
Oh,
So currently we're at 50-50.
Okay, let me go to YouTube and I can't do YouTube on here. Well, maybe I can. No, because then I'll have two volumes coming off the.
Fair enough. Ooh. Votes are still rolling in, so we'll leave this for a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm not a completionist. You're not a completionist. Peter's maybe a completionist.
Yeah. There's he does love his Monte Grappa autos and extra autos in 1930s. So those are the those are the two size pens from Monte Grappa that he absolutely loves. So yes, he's a color he doesn't have.
How is he faring with now having to import his Monte Grappas all from Italy?
Fair question. He was doing that anyway.
Okay.
So yes, he has, because he does. There's all of these sites you can go to.
Oh yeah.
There's an auction site called Catawiki, and so he does a lot of that. Plus, we know a few retailers in Europe, so that we've become very friendly with. So he does that.
All right, let's start on these comments while people vote. Interesting take there, Peter. I don't know that my inkwell behind me screams practicality, but sure. Another person that thinks more men are completists. I don't feel the need to have everything of something, but there are some things where I definitely have a lot more of them than others. I would agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot more Sailor Pro Gear Slims and Navaler Horizons and Esterbrook Estes than I have of anything else. So I do definitely have favorite pen models that I have multiples of. And then I've got some pen models where even if I like them, I go, I think one is enough.
Even like this little pocket Esterbrook that I have.
Yep.
It's too small for me. And I have pocket pens. I have a lot of pocket pens.
I have two.
And so I'm like, I think this will, because I have other pocket pens that I like better. So I said, okay, this is gonna, and I've never inked it or used it. So I actually got it at a show and brought it home, and I'm like, why? Sometimes when you're at a show, you get caught up in things.
Yep.
And I said, I haven't used it, and it will be nice for someone. It's a cute pen. It's an Esterbrook.
Is it the light blue one or the dark blue one?
It's a light blue.
Okay, so it's the twinkle.
Yeah. So the yellow.
No, I have a twinkle.
That's
They're really cute.
Very cute. I don't know if this has good question. I might have to find some light on it.
Ooh, I think it's actually the Fantasia.
Yeah.
Looking at it, I think it's the dark blue.
The dark blue. It's not that. Let me get some light on here.
It looks far darker than this. Like the twinkle is very much a Cinderella blue.
Oh no, this is more like it has some sparkle in there, but it's not.
Yeah, that's the Fantasia.
Yeah. So.
Oh, no. So Shannon's saying no, it's an older one. It's a tropical.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. You know what? Wait a minute. You know what? I learned this new technology thing at my age. I'm still learning. I just got to go to Google and take a picture of it and see what happens.
I adore Google Lens. It's one of the best things in the world right now. I use it all the time.
My friend, my friend Sue had taught Peter, so that's all he does now.
It's potentially Blue Breeze, apparently. It definitely depends on the pen. For some, I'm a completionist, like for Safari / All Sports and Coco Sports. Okay, gotta know how many Coco Sports you have, because there are so many that get released every year. And like, do you collect all the store exclusive ones as well, or just like the mainline ones?
I don't do all the store exclusives, and I do like the AL Sports. Those are because it's a little bit heavier. And now I have a whole drawer full. Not the whole drawer is not full yet of the AL. I just got the one for the Dutch Pen Show in. I have one that I got from Gold Spot. I have one that was from Bungu Box when Bungu Box did theirs. And then I have a few other colors. Oh, plus the Hello Kitty ones too.
Will you be getting this year's Gold Spot exclusive one?
I haven't seen it yet. So maybe depending on the color.
I believe it's just to the teal side of Cinderella Blue.
I'll have to look at it because I have, like if it's close to the other blues that I have, maybe not.
It's like clear and sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
They've used a similar material to what Esterbrook's using for the Twinkle and the Fantasia.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
They're going to do it in an AL Sport, or is it going to be in the regular?
Regular.
Oh, no. See, I prefer the aluminum, the ALs, so maybe not.
Okay.
Oh, it's funny. So, okay, the image displays an Esterbrook JR pocket fountain pen, especially a special edition like Fantasia or Twinkle, based on the visible sparkle and color. So, probably Fantasia. Yes, it is the Fantasia. I can look at some of the pictures here. So, yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, based on the end cap, I was pretty sure it was a Fantasia because the Blue Breeze has a yellow end cap, not a gold end cap.
This has the gold, yes.
Yeah, the gold is a Fantasia.
Yeah. So.
Brian Goulet is an uber completionist.
Oh.
He does have a very interesting pen archive. Ooh. So you take a similar approach to Shannon. Shannon collects pink pens, as well as other things, but Shannon collects pink pens. I don't know that I could only collect one color of pen. I'm too matchy with my ink choices.
So see, that's another quiz on ink choices with your pens. Are you matchy or are you contrasty? Or there could be a third one. You just don't care. You just put whatever ink you like in the pen. I have a friend, it doesn't matter what pen he has. He only uses one ink color. That makes it so easy. So if you have both, sometimes matchy, sometimes not. I kind of like to do the matchy. Once in a great while, I'll do contrast if I can't find an exact match that I like to go with the pen.
All right, new poll. 62% were not completionists.
It's good to know.
Yeah. Yes. Again, Shannon is a completionist with certain pens. She does collect. Oh, she collects a Japanese series of sailor pens.
Oh, which one of those?
I can't think of what it is. It might be the Ancora pen of the year. She'll correct me in the comments, though. I think it's the Ancora pen of the year that she collects.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody does the same thing Liz does, except with blue pens.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that people collect certain colors because, like, oh, I am correct. It is the Ancora pen of the year that Shannon collects. There's such, especially with a color like blue, there's such a range. You've got like green blues into like purple blues. So do you stick in like the true blues, or would you like move around?
As long as it has I'm wondering if as long as it has a hint of blue. It's really,
yeah.
A hint of blue. I like variety. Lately, for some reason, I've been into yellows a lot. I'm into variety, but sometimes it's very hard to say.
Yes, I have two. I would say I'm collecting right now. I've got a couple yellowy orange pens, which was not a color I thought I'd be into. I did not get the dried flowers mimosa pen. I sort of threw any idea that I was a completionist out the window when I got 3 of the 4 Sailor Pro Gear Slim dried flowers, but did not get mimosa because it was orange. That did bug a couple people that I got 3 out of the 4. And I was like, but I don't like it. Why would I get it? But I've also got like other goldeny orangey pens that I do really like. And so it's just incredibly interesting in the pen world.
Thank God I thank God we have like apps for everything in this household, because the AC's on and I'm freezing in my room. So I could sit here, not have to get up to go to the thermostat, just like, okay, shut it off. I'm cold. Where it's 90 something degrees here in South Florida, and I'm freezing in my apartment, waiting to get a sweatshirt.
Elizabeth is a completionist in some cases, but most of the time not. Wendy Sue collects Franklin Christoph pens. I will say, I tried really hard to test one at Chicago and ended up making it to the Franklin Christoph booth to see them like 10 minutes before the end of the day, I think on Friday, and did not have nearly enough time at that booth. Hopefully I will run into a friend who has one, or I see them at another pen show at some point this year, because I do genuinely want to spend some time playing with their pens.
I have one Franklin Christoph, and I'm thinking about trying another. The one that I have, I did not realize it when I got it because I really liked it. Everything, and then after she set the nib and I brought it home, it's like, oh, it's weird because the nib is more inset, so you're better off filling the converter with an eyedropper.
I have a pen like that. So this is my River City Pen Company, and Rich also insets the nibs.
Yeah, so there's like a lip, so if you
Yeah.
put the whole thing in there, you're gonna get ink in there, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no, you're better to fill the converter with a syringe.
Yeah, I and then push it a little bit. I'm not. It's not one of. I mean, I would rather. I'm such a clean freak with pens, and anyway, it's like if I'm writing and I see something in the cap, I have to go clean my pen.
Oh yeah,
You know, I sit there.
Yeah, no, I have Q-tips on my desk so that if any ink is in a cap, I can clean it up. I also have Esterbrook nib cloths on all of my various things. There's one on my Delphonics pouch. There's one in my folio from Galen Leather. I've already told the Esterbrook team that whatever pen show I see them at, I'm going to end up purchasing probably 2 or 3 more because they are by far my favorite nib wipe. Because they've got the little cloth, they've got the little loop attached to them already, and you can just attach them to anything. But they're also really compact and small.
Yeah, show it again. Show the ones because you brought it up, but yeah, and then you can just wipe the nib off or wipe whatever you need to wipe off.
Yeah,
so
they've got 3 layers. This one's cleaner. This is my Chicago Pen Show one. But the one in my Galen folio is an absolute mess.
Yeah. There was.
Oh, yep.
Oh, no, there was some others. Like I have a big cloth. You know, I bought one of the bigger ones because, you know, but I like those to put on your bag because they're just there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's always there.
They're great. And if you saw me at Chicago, if you saw pictures of me at Chicago, like I had one attached to my lanyard all weekend because you're playing with pens, you're pulling pens out of rickshaw sleeves. There's going to be ink. And it was so nice to just have a little cloth attached to me to wipe off a nib with. Especially because I was photographing pens for Heinz as well. I already got a DM about it. Because somebody saw my name in Pen World. Yes, I did take Heinz's pictures for Pen World. And that is what I was doing after hours at Chicago. So I was very grateful to have a little nib wipe so that when I was borrowing pens, I could clean stuff off because I wasn't always getting stuff clean.
That's always a good thing. I even carry, you know, like you have the regular Q-tips. I use the longer ones for those, like sometimes on Amazon they have like a wood handle and they have a Q-tip at the end, and those are great for those caps that are really big.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so I love those, and so I use those a lot too. I have readily available on my other desk, so all cleaning supplies.
Do you think your pen preferences will change once your hand's back to 100%?
No. And the reason why I say that is because they were already changed before I, you know, went through this, and I was already thinking about what I was wanting to destash. And it could change. I mean, it could change again, but I think I'm in a good place with what I really like. There's really after 3 years of collecting, yes, do I still get excited about something different and new? Absolutely. I just bought something that I saw someone post on Instagram, and it's coming from Italy. And it was, I thought, I like the color of the pen, number one. And then the way the filling mechanism was, I thought that was really ingenious. It's a magnet. So you kind of pull the handle down the side and you bring up the ink. So I'm interested to trying that pen. And it wasn't hugely, it was priced pretty well, I thought, fairly. And I'm excited to try that one. So who knows? I might love it or hate it. I don't know yet. And but it was a pretty cool looking pen. So
yeah, I would say I always get excited about the interesting or slightly different things that end up on my desk. Like, is there a reason for me to be reviewing a mechanical pencil that's also a screwdriver? No, but do I think it's really cool? Yes. Did I buy a Benu pen purely because it glows in the dark? Also, yes. Like, I am sort of building my collection in a way around like the like super weird things that I can get my hands on. I will say this next season of 20 Questions has some of the weirdest filling systems mentioned in it. I talked to pretty much every nib person at Chicago other than Gina. Gina was incredibly sick, and so I did not talk to them at the Chicago Pen Show for 20 Questions. I talked to Kirk. I talked to Matthew. I've talked to Annabelle. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I probably am. But the weirdest filling systems are mentioned this season. Can I find references for some of these filling systems? No. But it's super fun.
I have a pen. When I was the first time I was co-hosting with Yost, he had a gentleman that just started a pen company out of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And his filling system and his pens almost look like a test tube. It's really kind of cool. So it comes out, you pull it out, and it kind of suctions out, and you fill it that way, and you put it back in. And I kind of like that. It was like a test. Like it was made for that. And for the life of me, do you think I can remember the name of it now? No. It's I have to write that. That's the problem. Maybe that is the problem when you have so many pens, right? But it's a really cool feel. The way it's brass and ebonite, and it's really very interesting pen, and I'm trying to look it up right now because it's going to kill me. The name's on the tip of my tongue, and I don't want to get it wrong. So let me go way back when.
This is an interesting. Now we're on to matchy inks. Some pens I go matchy, some pens I go contrast, and some I just want to use a particular ink. Although I'm having a hard time finding a pen that will take Van Diemen's Marriage of Figaro. And so then I had to go to Van Ness because I didn't actually know what this ink was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what this ink is?
No, I'm going to have to look that one up myself. I should know a lot of...
And that's the thing. It is rare when an ink gets mentioned in this chat that I don't know off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to Van Ness, Van Diemen's Marriage of Figaro is from the Encore series, is a deep blue-black ink with a medium red sheen and a red and gold shimmer. It dries in 40 seconds in a medium nib on Rhodia and has an average flow. That being said, when looking at their swatch, all I see is sheen. I do not see shimmer. You just see sheen.
Yeah, that's the problem with some of the, if you, especially on a medium nib, if that's what they used, because sometimes with the sheening inks, it can be, I mean, I'm just did a web search and basically just see a lot of sheen.
Yeah.
Even if you go to the Van Diemen's website.
Yeah. Atlas's swatch of it is so reflective that the color looks black.
Yeah. And here it is. You put it in a black pen.
Oh yeah.
Black pens work. I know sometimes a black pen is boring and you want to put an exciting ink in a boring color. But I mean, I'm not saying black pens are boring. I'm just saying it's just if it's solid black, you can use any color you want.
Put it in a pen that is cartridge converter and easy to clean.
Yes.
Do not put it in a piston or vacuum. You will never get that clean.
No.
Put it in a cartridge converter that is easy to clean, and maybe something that's standard international, so that if you can never get the converter totally clean, you can just replace the converter.
Yep, toss it. When I can't get a converter clean, because I'm, like I said, I got to get, I'm trying everything. It goes in the sonic cleaner. I just look at it. I'm like, how much is this damn converter?
Yeah.
I mean, what are they, like $10? And I'm killing myself for an hour to try to get it clean.
Like, I have Tesla coil in this pen. It's a Heinz Yinmin Blue Diamond Cast pen. Was it a stupid decision? Yes. Did I say it was a stupid decision in my video? Yes. Do I sort of regret it because I know that I'm going to have to clean this pen in the coming weeks? Also, yes. But I put it in a pen that is cartridge converter, takes a Yovo nib, I have extra feeds for it, and so really at the end of, and I've got extra converters. All I have to do at the end of the day is take it apart.
Right. And those are easy to take apart. I
are.
love, I actually love when a pen takes a Yovo nib because I can pull it out, so, like it's all together, just I can unscrew it, clean it out, and it makes my life so much easier. Yes, we love the Viscontis and we love some of the other pens, but if I don't dare pull the nib. Do not dare. That's not, if I have an issue with the nib, hey, here, Kirk, can you fix this for me? I won't do it myself.
Oh, if I have an issue with my Visconti, I'm going, hey, Mark.
Mark, yeah, now it's
Mark.
Mark, hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark, can you fix this, please? Thanks.
Yeah, yes. If it needs tuning and stuff, I go to Kirk.
Yeah.
Other than that, if it needs another issue, I go up to Mark and say, hey.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So at least, when you know people, it's just so much nicer, it's so sometimes, like, and that's what I tell people, like some people will get a pen in and they go to write with it and they're like, what? Do not pull the nib.
So Annabelle sets all of her harmonic nibs in pens.
Yeah.
You do not get to set your own harmonic nib. Annabelle does it for you because they are so easy to screw up, and she does not want anyone to fuck up their very expensive nibs.
Right.
So yes, you do not pull your nib.
No, if it screws in, no problem. Same thing like Pelican. Screws in, yes, great, easy to clean. Yeah. I'm not pulling a nib. I will,
No.
Way.
No.
It gets very frustrating. Okay, so Amy says, can you put Amy's comment up?
Yeah. And then we'll go back to where we actually are in the chat.
Yeah. Inner cap of the pen with the clear cap shows ink remain. Yes,
yeah. I'm trying to find, I've got a great example of it currently. The biggest issue I have with it is actually Pelican M200s and M205s. If I could get this off of my book, which apparently I can't. Doesn't look awful right now. There's ink. You can sort of see it. That ink there is not in between the nib and the pen. It is in between the layers of the grip. It's fine. It's a pink ink. It's not a super expensive pen. It just gets different pink inks on the pen. It doesn't bug me a whole bunch in this pen because it's pink on pink. It does bug me on my Golden Barrel, which is a clear gold pen. Because I have the same issue with the ink starting where the ink will start to seep between the two layers that make up the grip section. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if other people have this issue with these pens. I love Pelicans, but I do find it really frustrating that happens.
It can be frustrating if you can if it's Trisonic cleaner, you can try, depending on the pen. There's some pens you just do not put in a sonic cleaner. Rushi pens, celluloid pens, never, ever, ever.
You do not get celluloid wet.
No.
Thou shalt not.
No. So yes, you can, Annabelle. Yes, I know that you can screw up a screw in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be very careful not to ruin the feed and all that stuff too.
Yeah. All
So
right.
where were we?
We were talking about the orange Pelican.
Yeah.
The new M200. I was, again, much like Shannon, shocked that I actually liked the color.
Mm-hmm.
It's not...
Recently saw that because it took forever to come out. They come out with the apricot ink.
But it's early this year. We normally don't see previews of the pen until August.
Mm-hmm. And from what I understand too, the Pelican Hub is going on, and it is going on, and signups I think will be coming out soon, sometime.
The hubs will be happening sometime in October, from what my sources are telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was very quickly sent some messages after my last live show.
Yeah, I hope it's not during some of the pen shows.
It sounds like it's not going to be.
I hope not.
And so as soon as I have a link for the Pelican Hubs, I will post it over on the community tab. Because I know lots of people have been thrown off by it being late. So as soon as I have a link, I will make sure it goes up on my community tab so that people can sign up. Normally the sign up window is a couple weeks. Actually, normally it's close to 5 weeks. I don't know if it'll be that long this year, purely because
of the lateness of it. Because I gotta send out an email to my South Florida pen group, because I'll host it again. You know, I'll be the Pelican.
Yeah.
And so I'll do it again. We did have a great hub. Oh yeah, thanks. Amy said I did it. Yeah, it was fun. We had a great hub. And it was easy because I didn't have to search for a place. I have a community room, and I just did it where I live.
Yeah.
So
my fear currently is that it'll be the Friday before Scriptus. Because Scriptus is only on the Saturday. And if they do it the Friday before Scriptus, which we still don't have a date for Scriptus. Nobody's heard about tables as far as I'm aware. Like, there's been no information about Scriptus. But my fear is currently it'll be the Friday before when Scriptus normally is, which would mean the Toronto hub, which is normally already 150 plus people, would be even larger.
Well, the other thing too is, like, why do it on a Friday? Why can't they do it on a Saturday when it's easier? People leaving work, traffic around this area is terrible. And I know, and then we had hurricane season. So people that they had to reschedule their hubs.
Yeah.
So at that point, what do? You know, Peter said we really, it was a great time last year. We had a great group of people.
Toronto's was great last year, but Toronto's is massive. Like, they buy out a restaurant for an evening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was packed. It's crazy. Elizabeth has got a Visconti because of you.
Oh, I hope you great steel nib. I love it. That's wonderful. I'm glad. That makes me happy. You know, as I always say, if you have a pen, if you order a pen and it comes in and it's not working right, all right, you first of all, wherever you get it from, you say, hey, it's not writing, or whatever it is. And, you know, or if it's just a little scratchy, you just might need a little tuning. Because some people, and this is what I found, that some people like their nibs a certain way. Some people like the nibs feedbacky. Some people want it smooth as anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to. I'm not defending the manufacturers, but what I'm saying is that sometimes they'll do it a certain way because they can't make it for everybody's taste.
Yeah.
So that's my feeling on the subject of nibs. I have a little. I won't We have some stuff where we can do maybe a little smoothing if something's just a little scratchy, but if it's something more than that, I won't do a lot of smoothing on it. We just do like a touch.
Yeah, I would say mom flosses nibs.
Yeah.
There's the rare occasion I get something into the studio and because of how I'm sent pens, like stuff doesn't always come in boxes. And so stuff will have been bounced around in transit, and like on occasion a nib has just like been dinged. And so then you just like floss the tines apart again and they're fine. But that's about as much nib work as we do in this household.
Yeah, no, I won't do much, just a little bit. Other than that, I'm always going to a pen show, and if not, sometimes I'll just ship a bunch of pens to Kirk and say, here, just please take care of it. In between his travels, and he's been super busy, so that's hard.
Wait, a glow-in-the-dark pen? Yes. So this is the Benu Talisman Hanukkah oil, which came out in 2023. I wanted it for a very long time, purely because it glowed in the dark. And I will post the link from Reddit where it glows in the dark, because I don't have pictures of it glowing in the dark. And I picked it up at the Chicago Pen Show from Luxury Brands of America. This was the last one they had. It is long sold out. But I was talking to Bryce and I looked down and I went, hey, is that X? And he was like, yes, it is. And I was like, cool. I would like to buy that, please. Because I have wanted it for a very long time. It is incredibly sparkly and it glows in the dark.
It's very cool.
It is very cool.
Some of the Twisbys, they have glow in the caps and stuff. I'm
just not a Twisby person. I've tried. I don't love them.
Yeah.
Some of the Benu Briolets glow in the dark as well. So those are the old Briolets. The new Briolets, I believe, do not glow in the dark. They discontinued a bunch of Briolets. I do have one of the new ones. This is Amethyst Tide. But the new ones, as far as I'm aware, none of the new ones glow in the dark.
No, I'm not sure which ones do and which ones don't.
Not a Twisby person, controversial. The only Twisby that I own is currently in my for sale pile. I'm really not a Twisby person.
When we were first collecting pens, we did some of those. Twisbys are good for, especially the stub nib ones, for shimmer inks.
Yeah.
So if you want to play with shimmer, then I would go with the, some of the, I get worried with shimmer inks, and I'll use them in my Benus because they work great. Shimmer inks and Benus, I've never had a problem with a shimmer ink in a Benu, and they just and I used, broad nibs, and they're beautiful. Some other pens you just get so worried, with some of the pens, especially an expensive pen, I would never put shimmer inks. Now, being said that, I have a friend that puts shimmer ink even in his David Oscarson. So I said, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be cleaning out shimmer.
I would say that I put shimmer inks in most things. I don't put shimmer inks in a vacuum pen because that's just a mess to clean up.
Right.
And I don't put shimmer inks in ebonite feed pens.
Yeah.
Because our, lovely friends who are sales reps in the pen world went, thou shall not. And I went, okay, I won't.
Until they're your own pens and you can do whatever you want.
Well, they are my own pens.
I know.
But like, if I screw them up, then they have to deal with my screw up. And I went, okay, I will listen to you in this one instance of not putting shimmer inks in my ebonite pens, but I'm also going to put shimmer inks in all this other stuff.
Yeah, with an ebonite feed, I never put, I don't put shimmer inks. And now Peter has a pen that has an ebonite feed, and he loves this pen, and he has a shimmer ink in it, and it writes every single time. So I mean and it's a really nice pen. So, but
Annabelle's making a harmonic for an eco.
Okay, so that eco is now worth how much once the nib's put in there?
The nib is $1,500.
Okay, so $1,595. I don't even remember what a price of an eco is.
Ecos are like less than 50. I think I paid like 30 for mine.
Mm-hmm. So 1530. Oh yeah, 1535. There you go.
Okay, I need pictures of this. Once you've like got it set in the pen, I need a picture, please.
That's funny. That is funny. I did get to try the harmonic nib at the Chicago show. It was quite lovely.
I did too. I love a harmonic, and it's definitely a someday.
Our day will come.
Because why not? Why not? You're already putting a $1,500 nib in a $35 pen. Let's just put gemstones on it.
Oh my. Oh, I can't imagine putting a gemstone on a nib because that's more cleaning.
I know. That's the one thing I do not get about some of the bespoke Mont Blanc nibs. Is the gem encrusted ones, I just look at them and go,
why?
But why?
Because they can.
And I know they can, but then they'd be such a pain to clean.
Hey, as it is, okay, so I was very heartsick. I lost a stone in one of my bands,
okay,
and it had to be sent out. And I'm like, oh, it's like a price of a pen to get the ring repaired, right? But it's I had to get it repaired, but I don't lose things, and losing a stone out of a ring is easy enough to do.
Yeah.
So I get my ring back, and my girlfriend's like, and make sure you clean your rings. I said, I clean them all the time. And it's, even with rings, I do sonic cleaner or whatever, I clean them all the time. It's just very difficult with you got oils and you got all kinds of stuff, and you have to be very careful, and they just get dirty. But she said, yeah, clean them all the time. That will, if you don't clean them all the time, like having that rhinestone or gemstone on a nib, the stone's going to fall out. You got to get the grime and whatever out of there. So, let's see.
Are you both coming to Orlando?
Yes, I'm coming to Orlando, but
as I keep saying, my schedule's fluid. Who knows?
No, I'll be at Orlando.
Yeah, I'm like planning my life 3 weeks out at this point. If it's not 3 weeks away, I probably don't know if I'm attending it or not. That's how my schedule works right now.
Orlando will be fun. This will be our third Orlando show.
I really do want to attend Orlando because it seems to be the maker show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of makers there. And so, because we're all friends, and the cool part after it's, we all just hang around after, at night, have the after parties.
Mm-hmm.
Last year at the Orlando show, they had at the same time they had those celebrities there, like the ones that look the celebrity lookalikes.
Okay.
So it was so funny. Everybody was having the picture taken with like Colonel Sanders and Dolly Parton and Dean Martin and Elvis Presley and Rod Stewart. It was kind of funny. So after everybody was hanging around afterwards with all these celebrity lookalikes, it was kind of fun.
So Annabelle, for this to happen, you have to find somebody to pay for my travel. If you can find somebody to pay for my travel, I will sit on the floor next to you and feed you the entire show. We can make it happen. But you have to find somebody to pay for my travel and hotel. We can make this work. We can make it happen. Apparently, the stone on the nib is set on the top of the breather hole so that the ink can still come out.
Right.
People theorize that the stone on the nib was more for looking at than actually using the nib on the TWSBI. I think if you're spending that type of money on a TWSBI, you've got to actually use it. Okay, now we're reaching out. Okay, fine. Have fun, people. Go bug somebody about this.
Yeah.
If you're successful, I'll be very happy.
Dawn was saying that his mom lost a stone from her ring last week. She thought it was gone, but he found it stuck to the wall of the U-bend under the sink. Thank God. That's lucky. Very lucky. Dom's mom's great. She's at the show. She's Helen's Creations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Annabelle says that if you're spending that amount of money, you better use the nib. I would agree with this.
Yeah.
If you are spending that amount of money and taking up a waitlist spot, I want to see the nibs in progress. I want to see you using the nibs. I would say this is not the first time that I've said, if you want me to attend pen shows, you've got to pay for it. The YouTube AdSense for my channel just barely covers the paper costs for my channel in a month. The math does not math for this channel. I was lucky enough to attend Chicago on somebody else's dime, and we will see what happens for other pen shows. It's just how my life works. I do not have the disposable income to be part of this hobby, and I am very grateful that I get to do what I do. Mont Blanc nibs do have stones. And
the bespoke ones.
The bespoke ones. And I've seen far too many with multiple diamonds. And I don't get it.
No.
If I'm going to have diamonds, I want them to be diamond earrings.
Oh,
yeah. Like, I don't want them on a pen nib.
No. No. Yeah. There's a place for everything, but not on a pen nib. And I mean, even some of the pens you've seen, like someone said to me one time, what's the most expensive fountain pen that I've never seen it. But you go online and stuff, and you get some of these pens that are $100,000 or more because they have some gemstones on them and stuff. I'd be afraid to use that pen. It would never leave the house.
No. So our Mont Blanc boutique at one point happened to have one of the limited edition of 10 $250,000 pens in the display case. I've seen them in person. And gone, they're pretty, but there are other pens I like more.
I'd like to get a few of them, not just one.
Yeah, like I got to hold a Victoria and Albert. Was it? No, it was the Victoria. I got to hold the Queen Victoria Mont Blanc pen at Chicago and photograph it. At some point, I will be organized enough to post the photographs of it. But that is one of the most expensive pens I've ever held. And I still walked away from it and went, one, I'm glad that I finally got to see it in person. I've linked it so many times for 20 questions. But also, I don't feel the need to add something like that to my collection. It's just not something that I would actually ever use. It would just sit on my desk, and I don't like pens like that.
Right. I like to use my pens. That's why I'm, doing this destashing, because I feel guilty not, having all these pens and I can't use them. Isn't that weird? You feel guilty because you're not using pens? I just I'm reorganizing stuff, and I'm getting mad at myself because I don't have time to do the things that I want to do. So yeah. Yes, Gingery, thank you. Yes, we have a love for Snoopy in here. So I love my Snoopy mug. So yeah, we have a few of them.
Annabelle, yeah. I think I would
Yeah.
agree with this. Like, I think if I spent all the time that you spend putting into your nibs for people to just look at them, especially with like how long your wait list is, I think I would just be pissed. It would be like you took up a waitlist spot from somebody that like actually wanted to be able to use this nib just to look at it and be pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to use everything I get.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's like like it's you wait for something and then you get it in. Oh, it's pretty, and you have it there on display, and you're not using it. And so I like to. There are some pens though that are more display pieces, but I have used them.
Yes. Yeah. Like I've used my 1946 Waterman. I've used it a bunch for a long time. It was always inked up. It's been about 8 months since it was inked up, but it's going to be inked up again.
Yeah.
I love it, but it does not leave this desk. Like, it does not go in a pen case. It does not leave this desk. I don't want to break it. It's
Right.
a family pen and it's vintage celluloid.
I just got my second 100 pen box from Toyoko Craft. And so because I have my other desk in the other room. And so I have a balance. I like to keep my pens that I use on my desk. Now, I'm not saying that I have 200 pens inked on my desk. No, but my favorite pens are, they're, I don't have 200, I'm not inking 200 pens, but at least I know that, okay, once I can really start writing, it's going to be a few pens for 1 week, and then they get cleaned, and I'm going to go to another few pens, and then I'm going to go to, you know what I mean? Just rotate. I'm going to rotate.
Well, once I take everything out, I went back and forth on my pen storage for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I settled on was putting the cuttable pen trays into quality street treat tins.
Okay.
Because they stack quite easily. And
Yep.
post the holidays, you can pick these up for between 25 and 50 cents. And they come in a mini version, which the biggest pen it fits is a Pelican M200.
Mm-hmm.
But they stack on the top shelf of this, and it's great. It is the cheapest pen storage solution if you're trying to store hundreds of pens.
I like that. That's a great pen. I actually have to get some more of those inserts because I actually use clear acrylic.
Okay.
Clear acrylic draws. They're like little jewelry box type thing. And then I cut those out. And there we have those that we use. And I fit it into what is a clear acrylic jewelry little insert. And I stack those.
Yeah.
So I actually like to see my pens, but if they're sitting on my desk in the Toyoko Craft boxes, which are beautiful blue, I have a small one here on my desk that just has a lid, so I still can see that. So in my bedroom, so I have one of these. So that I got at the DC show the first year.
Like I have a marble pen rest from.
I saw that. That's pretty. That's a pretty one.
Like it holds 10 full-sized pens or 15 pocket pens. Right now I've got 10 full-size pens on it. Mm-hmm. But so I've got a selection on my desk, I've got a selection on my folio, and so then I just put away what I'm not using because I don't need to have everything out at any given time. But I needed a solution that let me put away a bunch of pens for a reasonable amount of money. Oh, that's smart. See, I don't have anything labeled. If I'm looking for something, I have to pull down all the tins and open everything up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I inside the drawer, I have little labels from my label maker on what the name of the pen is. Because you get all the Banus, my Banus. Yep. They all have beautiful names, and I'm like, I could, when you have, okay, if I didn't have so many things, I wouldn't have so many problems. I think that's what an old friend used to say. If you didn't have so much, you wouldn't have so many problems, right? So on the pens, sometimes it's hard to remember every single name of the pen. So that's what I do. So I can like say, okay, this is vodka on the rocks, or this is, whatever it is, Tai Chi or Tai Tea, whatever, Chai Tea. So that's, kind of fun. I mean, the other one that I told you about, the brand from Spain, the name of the company is called Umpia. It was brand new, okay, and it's really interesting filling system, and I knew it was going to come to me. So I am like, okay, but it's unique. I haven't seen an Umpia here. I got it from Appleboom. I bought it from Yost after we interviewed him because I really liked the concept of it. So it's always like unique systems.
How do you sell? Seeing as this is one of our key topics today, where do you sell?
Okay, so sometimes I post it on Instagram. And I'll put it for sale and I'll post the picture. There's also on Instagram, you have another thing called, I have not done virtual pen show yet, but some people do virtual pen show on, and then if you belong to another place called Slack, sometimes people sell pens on that. Another way is word of mouth or at pen shows. Sometimes at the after parties, people will come over with their pen cases and say, hey, this is what I have for sale.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And then Amy had posted something about donating pens to the way back here, I think it was. Yeah. Yes. When you come to the Miami Pen Show, we'll have a table there that called the giving table. If you wanted to donate pens, you just put them there, and that it's great. And so we will have they're giving us a table for the South Florida Pen Club at the.
Sweet.
So we'll have a table there. So I already I've been cleaning a drawer full of crafting stuff that I'm like, these are great. They have some washi tapes and stuff that were given to me, and I've been going through them. So I have a pile of stuff that I'll just put out on the giving table.
Annabelle has used virtual pen show and it has worked quite well. So that is the direction I'm leaning. There's a Canadian group that I'm also leaning towards using. But I will also probably have stuff posted on virtual pen show if it doesn't sell in the Canadian group.
Right. I think on virtual pen show to join or belong, I think it's like $3.
Yeah.
I believe something like that.
Yeah. It's $3 to list an item, which really isn't a big deal.
No, I mean, versus having to go through, I used to sell a lot of stuff on eBay. And I don't do eBay anymore because the fees are just ridiculous.
Yeah. This is good information. Apparently more rooms for DC just opened up.
Oh, really? That's cool. I know someone that just at the main hotel or the other one. See, I had some people that had to book at the other Marriott.
I'm wondering if some brands booked blocks of rooms, and I'm wondering if brands are now canceling their extra rooms.
Oh,
main hotel.
Okay, great. I got to tell somebody right now. Yeah, I mean, thank you for letting me know, because he booked it in the other and he wants to be in.
I'm guessing that brands are canceling their room blocks because they know how many. There's a link if you need to book your DC room. They know how many rooms they're going to need in their blocks.
Main hotel. Check it out. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's usually what happens, and I know that happened 2 years ago. I met. She's really cool, Nusha. She had Ferocious and Pretty Pens on her YouTube channel, and we just started chatting. I kept asking her some questions and stuff, and she was so excited that originally she couldn't get a room at DC, and then she could at the last minute. So you just never know. So thank you so much, Liz, for letting us know that rooms have popped up.
Yes, because now, I'm fairly confident it's brands that have canceled their blocks that they don't need, because I know of at least 2, potentially 3 brands, because nobody knows how many rooms they're going to need brand-wise, but everybody wants their people to stay in the hotel.
Yeah.
And now we're 6 weeks out, and so people know pretty much who's going.
Right. Well, not only that, but you don't have to pay when you book your hotel room. You don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
So you can just put your credit card down to guarantee it, but you're not being charged. So as soon as you hear the like with DC, as soon as I heard that DC the rooms were open, I booked right away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with any place, any show I go to. Don't scare me that it's so soon. I can't wait. I am super excited for DC. I'm going. I have booked my airflow too.
Like, shows are sort of coming fast and furious this year, it seems.
Yeah.
Like, I think Triangle's this weekend.
No, that was last weekend.
Was it last weekend?
Yeah, because it was 2 weeks. It's usually right around my anniversary. I know it was because Frank was here visiting and he was going to Triangle.
Or is it St. Louis this weekend? Something's this weekend.
This is this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because now we're heading into the part of the year that there's a show every other weekend, and it's just fast and furious show content for the next.
Because we have Miami, the 16th and 17th of July, whatever the Friday, Saturday is.
Yeah, in between now and DC, we have St. Louis, Portland, Miami, and then we've got DC. There are 4 shows in the next 6 weeks.
I'm just trying to find what did I do with my Miami stuff? I got a bunch of cards that I have to start putting out. So
this is also good advice. If you're selling higher price things, you can always sell them on consignment to Kirk.
Yes, I've done that. It's very good. And they told you can either trade or consign it. So if there's like I have a pen that I'm actually trading with Trufe because he has something that I want. So we're gonna trade, and it's a higher end Yorushi pen. So, but yeah, so check with some of the major brands that if you look online, a lot of major brands have what they call the vault or whatever, the back room where they do take pens in for trade or consignment. So, but yeah. So Kurt does. He has a whole tray. He has trays of stuff that are consignment stuff. Yeah, St. Louis. I'm not going to. I am going to be in San Francisco too. I'm very excited. I'll be working in DC and in San Francisco. I'll be at the Leonardo table. So come on by and say hi.
Is there anything else?
I don't know.
How does the giving table work at a pen show?
Basically, it's you come and you put something down that you want to give away. If there's something you see on the table, you can just take. So basically that's it. And some, people will be there to watch the table because, you don't want people just coming around and just pulling off everything off the table, but it is to pay it forward, to give, if you're not using something and you just want to give it away, it's paying it forward to somebody, especially people that have never been to a pen show or are just starting to get into fountain pens and, don't know what they want to spend. Sometimes you'll find a fountain pen on the table and you're welcome to have it. So that's basically how it works. It's kind of a cool thing. And then because we'll have a sign up sheet for the South Florida Pen Club if you're interested in coming to club meetings or knowing what's going on in the area. We have you fill out a form with your email and phone number. I don't need to know your address, just email, phone number, and your name. But yeah, so that's it's kind of neat. you're going to be in St. Louis. That's the David Oscarson. He sponsors the St. Louis show because that's where he lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to end this poll. I forgot what it was. Oh, inks and pens.
Yes. Matchy, don't care.
48% don't care. 45% are matchy, and 6% contrast.
Okay.
Which is not the spread I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, if you, I would suggest booking flights now because the closer you get, the more expensive they're going to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I just booked my flights. We're flying in on Wednesday and leaving on Monday. And I just hope and pray that we don't have a repeat of last year. My poor husband was stuck at the hotel till the following Thursday, and he had to fly to Orlando and have someone drive him home 2.5 hours.
I remember.
Because of hurricane weathers.
Yeah.
I was in New York, freaking out. And I said, I'll just rent a car, drive to DC, pick him up, and we'll drive to Florida because we couldn't get flights. And he says, you're not going to do that. I said, well, let me check. I couldn't even rent a car out of New York.
Yeah, it was, DC last year was interesting for people trying to get home.
Oh, it was just, people were just, it was just awful. And then we had friends that could leave on Wednesday morning. And my husband, his flight, for some reason, finally he was on a flight and they canceled him again. And he finally it was Thursday night. By the time he got back to where we live, in Palm Beach area, it was like he didn't get home till like 4 a.m. from traveling from 3 after. I was like, for a 2.5 hour flight to here, it was just maddening.
That sounds horrendous. Honestly, that is me, Annabelle. I don't yet own a David Oscarson mug, but that will be the only David Oscarson product I could ever afford.
Yeah. I'm going to have to ask David about the David Oscarson mug.
Annabelle, you might have to post a picture of it to Instagram so we can all go stalk it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We had snow in Philly.
Yeah, so that's what I was actually thinking about. I was thinking, like, we sort of have a thing going on right now that, like, every 6 months there's a pen show that's an absolute disaster to get home from.
Yeah, and then last year a lot of people still got COVID.
Yeah. Because didn't DC turn into a super spreader event?
Yep, I know some people that got it. Just been, knock on wood, very lucky. I mean, yes. Okay, so we've had, Peter and I got COVID once, and it wasn't from us being out and about. His sister came to visit. And I said, why are you coughing, Donna? Oh, I've had this cough for a couple of weeks. The doctor says it's nothing. I've been tested. I'm fine. I'm like, okay. She goes home, and 2 days later, we get a phone call. Oh, I have COVID. Yeah.
I've had it twice. Because the second time I had it, I had a blood draw. And what we didn't know is that the blood draw had become a COVID testing center. They hadn't announced that publicly.
Oh, no.
And so immunocompromised me goes in to get my blood work for oncology. And 3 days later, I have COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time.
Right. Well, for me, because of the medications I take, because my immune system, I'm immunocompromised. And I was so upset. And Peter had it minimal. I was just couldn't get out of bed. It was just.
No. Yeah.
Hi, Lenny.
I wish I didn't care about the ink in nibs. Or in pens. Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently he gave away the mugs one weekend at a pen event.
Mm-hmm. I got some of his ink because he got some special. It's one color. It's a beautiful teal.
I know.
And
he's told me about this ink, but I don't actually own this ink.
I'll give you some.
Okay.
I'll give you a second. Just remind me. Remind me to take your pen with me too.
That would be a bad thing.
Oh, I know.
I would be really sad.
No, I got a whole set of stuff to take, so it's there.
At what point is an event a super spreader event? Honestly, I forget what the guidelines are. There were very specific numbers in Canada for what classified as a super spreader, like a number of cases, but honestly, I don't know what the guidelines are these days.
You can do your due diligence, if there's another update to the vaccine, get it. If you're eligible for it. Make sure you have plenty of like Purell or hand sanitizer. If you're that, I mean, I don't know if masks are, I have no opinion on wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. If you are coughing, wear a mask, please. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But for the most part, it's like you just have to do your diligence and make sure, like, even if you touch stuff afterwards, we got the hand sanitizer out and trying to, because you're always playing with your hands or doing something with your hands.
Yeah, I had at Chicago, I had hand sanitizer, I had Lysol wipes. I really tried not to touch my face.
Yeah.
If you've seen any of the video footage from Chicago, my hair is almost always back so that I was not touching my hair and my face, trying to get my hair out of my face.
Yeah.
Those are all things that can help minimize, but yeah. Yeah. Despite popular belief, I wash my hands more than most at pen shows. This is also it. Like, I probably was washing my hands 4 to 5 times a day, well on the show floor at Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're touching so many things that I was just washing my hands all the time.
Oh, I was just reading Annabelle's comment. I get it now. Despite popular belief, she does wash her hands.
Despite the fact that she is blue.
All the time.
All the time. I would say this is true. People don't realize how much you touch at a pen show.
Yeah. You're looking at pens, you're touching inks, you're touching everything.
You're touching everything. And so many other people have touched those pens, paper, and inks.
Yeah.
And those door handles and those railings. Yeah. I do not do a pen show without hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes.
Yep. No, and it's so funny because when I was really ill, I mean, I was 6 months in a wheelchair and everything. This is before COVID. I was because of a bacterial infection. I was really ill. And I was more diligent about sanitizers were all over the house. People would come in, they had to, I was on IVs at home. So, but then sometimes, I mean, I'm still diligent about doing all that, but we ease up a little bit and then COVID comes. So.
Yeah. Like I would like, we became slightly more lax once I, had an immune system.
Mm-hmm.
But when COVID began, I had no white blood cells, no neutrophils, had no immune system.
Right.
And so our house was on lockdown.
Right.
Like, people did not enter this household. There was no entry to this household for a very long time. And I would say, like, everything has just, like, stepped down its level, but, like, we still have hand sanitizer by the front door. All the vehicles still have hand sanitizer. Most of the vehicles have Lysol wipes on them.
Right.
There are some things that just, like, stay in rotation, and there are some things that, like, drop out of rotation.
Yeah. During COVID, that was when we really started getting more into, like, learning more about pens and stuff like that, because there was nothing else to do during COVID, but it was, what do you do? So we buy pens.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So anyway, we got, thankfully not to touch it, yeah. Yeah, money is dirty.
Yep.
You know, money is dirty. But anybody else have any pen questions for us?
Before we wrap up the show on the
go.
topic of,
Buying and selling and the reason why we're collecting, like I said, the very first time I ever went to the pen show was the DC pen show. And we walk in and it was like ding, 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 ding. Oh, I like that pen. I like that pen. I like that pen. And then between my husband and I, we come home with 17 pens. And then you're like, okay, what do we buy? And do I really like it? So that is why I get more picky, much more pickier. And I know what I like now 3 years later.
Okay.
So, yeah, so destashing. And so I will probably post some stuff up on, except for a couple of pens that someone asked me to bring to DC. I will post a few pens on Virtual Pen Show eventually.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you could attend to, Amy. Thanks for joining in, and thank you for giving us some questions.
Ooh. Pen shows are fun. I like pen shows.
The pen show is going to be the first that unsuited. Okay.
I would agree.
Mhm.
And Amy's asking about Virtual Pen Show, and so I will leave a link in the description.
It's on Instagram, and all you have to do is put in Virtual Pen Show.
Here's the link to Virtual Pen Show.
Thank you. Yeah, I got the thank you. Yeah, I like yellow. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. And I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, seeing as it's Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. In fact, I'm having my friend Suzette's coming for the weekend. I'm very excited.
Ooh,
yeah, so if you are, because I'll give her a plug because her work is amazing. I love Suzette's. She's doing some workshops. She's doing workshop in Miami and DC and Orlando on her creative journaling. She's already I think she has 7 people signed up for DC already.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what's happening I think Miami and Orlando are just getting posted. So yeah, so if you're at any of the shows and you want to take a great workshop and do something more creative journaling, check out Suzette's Pretty Pages on Instagram. And yeah, her work is amazing. So I'll just give her a plug. So she's coming this weekend to help me do some stuff with oh yes, Suzette is very talented. She puts stuff together, and I get floored. And she's like, just trust the process, with the layering and everything. But she just knows, and so we'll sit around and do stuff. So she's going to come help me here with a few things this weekend, and we get to play. So, which is going to be fun, and I'll be a little bit more active. I just have to be careful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Anyway, but thank you all for coming this morning and chatting with us. It's great, and we will see you in a month. We just got to figure out the date.
Yeah, because July's busy.
Yes.
Especially for you. So we will.
Miami, and then we leave on for DC. So we can fit another one in there.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
It might be early in the month.
That's fine. Now I'm not doing Apple Boom right now, so I'm all done with my 5 weeks with Apple Boom.
All right.
So which I kind of miss. I love Yost. He's great. He'll have a table at the DC show.
I know.
I'm very excited about that. So we all get to hang out. Anyway, bye everybody.
Have a good weekend.